Dreams do come true. It's a question of whether you want to sleep through them or live them. Hello, namaste, and welcome to my channel Pearls in the Ocean. My endeavor is to bring forth people who I have known personally who have dared to dream, break stereotypes, cut through the cliche, and are doing something that gives them a sense of personal satisfaction. They are making a difference in their own unique way. I hope these conversations resonate with you and inspire you to go the extra mile, just like these pearls in the ocean. Hi there, this is Ranjit and welcome to my channel Pearls in the Ocean. So what do you do over your weekends? Do you spend time lazing? Are you working through the weekend as well where you have to cover on your work aspects? Are you thinking through the weekend where I wish I could have done this, I could have pursued a hobby? Are you struggling with the balance of work versus life versus passion? Most of us get stuck in that rut, right? We have taken up so much that we don't have time to pursue anything else that has been fascinating to us, our interests, our passions. Today I'm talking to someone who's actually wearing these multiple hats and he's able to do something like this. Ramesh Nadgowda is having a regular IT job. He, along with that, is a professional photographer. He's shooting fashion shoots. He's making music videos. He's directing short movies. He's an artist as well. So, how is he able to manage with doing all of these things in parallel? He has inspired me throughout, and I'm hoping this conversation with him will inspire you all to also do something that you've always been wanting to do. If there is something that's blocking your mind, let me hope this conversation sheds some light on how you can overcome them and do something else as well. Let's get talking to Ramesh Nadgowda. Hi Ramesh, welcome to my channel Pearls in the Ocean.
Hi Ranjit, how's you?
Doing good, thank you. First of all, thanks for agreeing to come on this and telling us your journey.
My pleasure.
Okay, first of all, tell me what are the different hats that you wear? We can start with that. Let's understand what all you do right now.
Nothing much as such. So you know, right, my journey. We started together, the college stuff, the 12th, the engineering, and then after that, I started the job as a regular professional into software. So after that, I did that for over 2 decades now. So I shifted to Singapore and spent more than a decade there. Right now, I've shifted to Adelaide. So it's basically my primary job is a software professional into project management. But I know it's not the hats, but just that I wanted to explore a few other areas of myself that I thought I can contribute to, not in terms of proving anything, but just in terms of like what I can do or what I wanted to do the way I feel like it should be done. As simple as that. So tomorrow, if I feel that a certain dish has to be made like this, then I might give it a try. Or if I feel that a vehicle has to be driven like this, maybe I'll drive it tomorrow. So there's no hat as such, but it's just that exploring oneself. So that is it.
Nice, very nice. We'll come to what you're doing, but I want to go back in time a little. When you were in your education time, your schooling days, or when you're growing up, what were your aspirations that time? What did you want to become?
Wanted to earn money. That's it. Nothing much. See, we all came from a very humble backgrounds, right? So it's you know the similar structure what we had, the social fabric and the small towns that we came from. So that was, of course, the thing that you travel the world, earn money. That's it. I mean, I haven't planned ever in my life, so it's a step-by-step process. So there were smaller milestones. Like when I was in college, I thought that my milestone was to get a job through campus, so that I don't have to struggle hard after that. I'm a lazy bum that way. So that was my first target. So then it becomes like once you enter a job, okay, fine, you feel like doing this, do that. So I've never planned anything in my life, but just that I haven't limited myself to. So I haven't closed any of the doors and windows. So I think that has helped me in my journey. So there has been no aspiration as such. Even if you ask me today what you want to become, I have no idea. So just that I thought that I should explore this part of it, so I'm doing that. So tomorrow, if I don't feel like, I may stop it. I'm never sure. So, but just that it's a journey. It's an experience. Yeah.
So you go with the flow. You are not planning too much. It depends on each thing where you want to. What you feel is what you.
I mean, it's not a very uncalculated move. It is a calculated move. I mean, there is some thought process there. What is a feasible risk? What is an unfeasible risk? So even when I venture into something new, there is some calculation that goes on. So is it feasible enough? So fortunately, I was placed in a certain position in life where I could afford to do some things. And frankly speaking, if you ask me now, I'm trying always to put myself in certain position that I'm able to afford to do some things more tomorrow. So that suppose if you ask me about my job, this job helps me in terms of many aspects to do certain things, to take certain risks, to experiment a few things. So if I think about it about myself, then my attempt has been to place myself in certain positions wherein I am able to afford some risks, try out some new things, wherein not damaging my long-term situation or a goal or a social equation, whatever it is. So it's a calculated risk. I wouldn't say I'm fearless, but it's more of a calculated risk, you can say.
So what does your job give you? Is it only the financial security aspect that you're talking of, or anything else?
Right. So many people ask me that so when I started photography, right? So I was pretty selective. I want to do certain things in a certain way. So what happens is when you start doing something and which is getting approval from the people, you are flooded with offers offering a similar kind of work with the money flow, right? To say no to that, and because you can see the future in it, because once you start succumbing to that force that okay fine, the work is coming, similar work is coming, now I'm becoming famous, now let me start doing this. So that is a greater loophole. So to get out of it is something which you should be able to afford as an artist, right? So to able to afford that, you need to have something as a regular income, or that gives you a free space of mind. Now I can think freely in terms of creativity without thinking of what it can give me in return. I don't think about it, because for me this creative self is totally on the subject matter. It's not about what it is giving me or will it be safer. No, because I have my safety coming from other sources. So this mental state is you can afford if you have a stable job. So that is what my comfort zone is.
Very nice. If I understand this right, and for people listening, I think one good takeaway here is a lot of times things that you do outside of your regular stuff, it's tempting.
Right.
It gives you that initial boost and initial success, and it tempts you to give up, cut your wings, and just start, doing something else.
Right.
But what you're saying is this job that is there is keeping you grounded, saying, don't get carried away. Do this, and the other things that you're doing, don't run behind it for the success. Do it as a passion, and don't expect return. Right?
Exactly. So people come to me, they ask me, right? So I want to do this. I want to make a short film. How do we do that? And now my first question is, what is your driving factor? Why do you want to do this? So you want to prove someone wrong, or you want to prove that you can do this, or you want to earn fame, or you want to earn money, or you just want to do this work because you feel that this work has to be done this way, or you have a different take on it. Now, if your answer is the last one, then I can give you some inputs. If your answer is not this, then I would not be able to help. So my approach is clear, because somehow from my initial days, right, when I was a student, and I became. I always thought that like always, every perspective is unique. Like what you think, nobody thinks the same way as you do, and same applies to me. So, and it is important that we should be proud of that. And somehow it tells you that, okay, fine, if I have to tell this story, I'll tell it in a unique way, which has not been done before. So, my driving factor is this. If I feel that something has to be said in this way and which has not been said before, let me give it a thought. Let me give it a shot.
Very nice.
So, no other factor comes in.
Okay.
But of course, once you get the subject, it is important that you understand the feasibility, because lots of ideas you get, but what is feasible for you? It's like any other project,
Okay.
right? So when I did my first film, this question is also asked by me, that I have this budget. What can I do? What subject can I do? If you start from that point with the budget, then you're going nowhere. The starting point is itself wrong. So if you have the subject, there are hundreds ways of doing it. So you need to understand the feasibility, your limitations as an artist. I mean, everyone has limitations. What you can do better, what you cannot. Then extract maximum out of it. So I know my limitations, what I can do, what I can't do. So I play safe in that comfort zone, not breaking many walls, but still able to do what I can in a smaller way.
Very nice. Okay, let me again go back a little. I want to start from where you actually took this first step of doing something outside of your job. What was the first thing that you tried out as a venture beyond your job?
Right. So subconsciously, what worked for me was I never identified myself with my job. I have seen that happening to people, that they identify themselves as the professionals. After a few years in corporate world, they become the profession. You are a manager, you are a programmer, you are a leader, whatever it is. So, and there comes a time when they start taking pride in it, and there's nothing wrong in it. I mean, it becomes your personality. So I never became a part of it. I was a detached soul in that regard. Do your work, but that is a different part of you, right? So then, before this, it was travel. Before this, I used to do some painting and stuff. So there was always this urge of expression, of projecting your views. There was always this thing. So when my kid was being born, so I bought a camera, right? So like all the software engineers, I bought a DSLR. So that was a starting point, wherein I started taking my pictures of my baby and stuff, and I always had this critical view of this artwork of movies and photography, that I always felt that things could have been done this way, right? I always felt that. So I thought, like, why don't I give it a try? When I feel that things should be done in a different way, why don't you give it a try? So I started volunteering for some activities, like I'll come and shoot your programs and stuff. So they were events. So when that happened, I started doing that. I started enjoying it, covering events, and then coincidentally, people started appreciating the way it was done, the coverage of events. Like till then, the events were covered as a reporting mode. Like, okay, fine, this and this event happened this way. That's it. But there was no attempt to show the events that you could have seen the event in this way, or you miss seeing this in this way. Some different perspective of catching the nuances of an event, or nuances of audience reaction, or the artist who is projecting, because he does thousands of expressions in a matter of minutes. So as a photographer, you need to respect that and capture each one of it as much as you can. So showing people that, okay, fine, maybe you missed this, or maybe you could have seen this event in this way. So fortunately for me, this worked. And I became part of a team called Indie Strings in Singapore. So that was into photography and stuff, covering events. So I became part of it. So that is where this journey started, doing the events professionally. And then, once you start getting the support, you spread your wings a bit. So I went into fashion. Again, there it was fashion photography, and that was something new to me. But as a photographer, as a basic work, it remains the same. Your mode of operation is the same. Your sensibilities remain the same. So no matter what kind of work, be it fashion or tomorrow if someone says that come and capture some puja in a temple, again my approach would be the same. It's because it's all the human beings involved. You need to be attached to the expressions and the feelings of them. That's it. So rest everything's are peripherals. So the location and the deities and the gods and be it fashion or the ramp. So everything is the same. These are all humans putting up the feelings. You need to capture it. So so that was my approach, and fortunately it worked for me. And people found it refreshing and what was happening. So okay, fine. Our events or fashion could come out this way. So that was how it started. So event and photography was how it started.
Okay, this is, so you actually very nicely described how you got into this and what was your perspective to this photography and shooting, right? So why you brought that.
Right.
But I'm sure most of us are inquisitive about the fact that, okay, you became a part of Indie Strings and started shooting, and you did a little bit of fashion shoot as well at that time. But the most important question for us is, when you started doing this and you started getting a lot more work because of the way you're doing,
Right.
how did you manage your work life and this? Was it coming in the way as you started doing your stuff?
It was coming in a way. There is to be balance there. So when I started, I realized that that things have to happen in parallel. I mean, earlier my view was like, okay, fine, we'll do all the work, I'll earn all the money, and one fine day, I'll pursue my habits or hobbies. Okay, that doesn't happen in life. Maybe it might happen that I retire at say 50, and then I started doing this, but you wouldn't be able to enjoy the things you can the way you can do now. Maybe your health, maybe your point of views, maybe the things you feel now may be outdated then, right? So there are several factors. So whatever has to happen has to happen in parallel. There is no two ways about it.
Right.
So right. So that was my basis of approach. And as I said, it was not about proving oneself, because I have never felt the urge to prove myself to anyone. So that is out of the window. And so fortunately for me, the parents also have played a bigger role, that they have never let that insecurity come in me. So whatever has been done is because I felt that I have to do this. So that was one thing. And the next thing what I learned was this, that everything has to happen in parallel, and somehow I have to manage this. So, and of course, after marriage, after a kid, I mean, credit goes to 30% to me, but 70% to the family. Right. So, but you have to be responsible enough that you need to balance these both. So
give
what
us
I do is, after Fridays.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
that's exactly what I was asking.
Yeah. If I give an insight into my routine, right, my job is from Monday to Friday. So my event coverage happens on Friday evenings or Saturday, or fashion, any assignment for that matter, photography if I say. Then I come home and then I go out with my family, or whatever you have to address, whatever the duties you want to do, and then I sit overnight for editing. So I have to make sure that whatever I did on Saturday or Friday has to be out of my system by Sunday. That shouldn't be in my mind from Monday. If that work stays on in Monday, then my whole week is ruined, because I'll be thinking about it. So as that creative part of it, I have to make sure that it goes out of my system by Sunday evening. So for that, what is important is you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're good at it. It comes easier to you, because for me, fortunately, this came easier to me, like learning the editing or making a movie, or because so it happens faster. So everyone has his strength. Like maybe someone who is good at some other work, and if he is passionate about it, then he'll do it faster. So it's very important that these two meet. You should be good at it, and you should like it. So for me, this worked because I'm faster at it. So I can wrap it up in 2 days, and then I am a new person on Monday. So that this, so I had to, because it took time, the system to establish this, and it's also understandable that family has to be cooperative. That you Sunday, and then there is some leeway, but then you have to make sure on your side that you don't have to make them pay a lot. So you need to be accommodating in that sense. You lose your sleep, so you need to make sure that you space it out. Like one Sunday I cover events, the other Sunday I put it as a blank. No, I wouldn't do that. So 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 for these things to happen, you should not be driven by money. First of all, if you make it as a business model, then it's a different story altogether. For me, it has been a journey of discovery. So I could space it out. I can say no.
So let me ask you this. This is very nice. You brought a nice point about once I'm done with this on Sunday, I have to finish everything and I have to let go. I have to be ready back as the same person on Monday in office, right?
Right.
But
Right.
the other way around, does it happen that on a Friday you're still stuck with office work and that's running in your head and it creeps into your weekend? How do you manage those days? Because that's a common scenario all of us face. How do you manage those kind of scenarios?
Right. So for me, this creative part of it, like movie making or photography, is a very pure part of myself. If I'm not 100% there mentally, then I don't do it. I push it off. I don't pick up. I don't pick up the camera. I don't pick up my editing tool. If I'm not there, personally committed 100%. If I'm not there, I just don't pick it up. So I push myself to the wall. Okay, you want to do the office stuff? Do it 100%. Don't think about the other work. Push it, push it, push it. So then comes a point wherein you say, okay, fine, I've done enough. I'm fully prepared for this creative work. Because creative work is something which you can't be insincere about. You have to be 100% there. You just can't push it under the rug. So if you're not ready mentally, then don't get up. And it's your duty to make yourself mentally prepared for that. So for right now, as I'm speaking to you, ideally I should have spent more time on edit of the upcoming short film. But there are times when I'm not in the right phase of mind. So I don't open it. I don't open the editing tool.
Very nice. So, but do you agree that there are times when it's not like you're always a Monday to Friday office person and weekends are creative? There are times when your office work spills over the weekend and you have to attend to it, but that doesn't mean you let it, right? So I want people who are watching this to know that, it's not that easy for Ramesh, that it's always Monday to Friday happens. So there is a mix of it, and what you're mentioning is when the need is there, you do that, but when you're doing your creative work, you're 100% into when it takes, right? That's what you're essentially.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm not 100% in control. My life is not a compartment. Like, okay, fine, this got over, I start this. No, it doesn't happen. I mean, but over the time, it becomes a practice. That fine, when you start it, maybe you get a one weekend which you're in the right phase of mind. You do that work when you start it. But then over the time, when you start doing it, then it becomes a habit. Like you start detaching yourself from the job because you are looking forward to something else to do on a weekend. So normally what happens is you don't have any drivers for the weekend. Weekend just flies away. So if I look back on my life, I have wasted so many weekends that could have done wonders with it. I mean, 2 days, empty days are not a small thing. Because as we remember, our fathers had Sundays.
Right.
They just had Sundays.
Yeah.
And they were so happy about it. Now we have 2 full days of a weekend, and I was crying most of the time. I've cried most of my life thinking that it's just 2 days. I had to again go back to office on Monday. So yeah. So if I look back, now there are no excuses to it. If something has to be done, I have to do it. And 2 days are not a small thing. So if I start doing something, 2 days is such a big deal that you can wrap up a music video or a short film if you give your 100% to it.
Very interesting.
Imagine at least 2 short films coming in a month. If we could pull it off. So it's not a small deal. So So this is how, I mean, you need to have that perspective that you need to do this in parallel. Nobody is going to come and assist you in this. It's all about you. And there are 1,000 reasons to cry. I mean, I have done that. And I mean, as humans, we are inclined to complain. I mean, we are our mental structure is that, right? So, I mean, yeah, it happens. It can happen. Yes, just a little practice. And but more importantly, I've said right. It is very important to realize that what you're good at and what you're passionate about. If you're good at it, then your job becomes much easier.
Right. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, we in a given time frame, I think I would want to talk to you more about a few more things, but maybe we'll do one more. But in this part, I want to touch upon last couple of things. So, one is beyond your work, you're doing is spoke about Indie Strings. You're a part of that where you do photo shoots, and the other
Right.
thing is you're in movie making, so short movies.
Right.
For viewers, we're going to put the links and description of those in our description comment section. You can have a look at what he's doing. While you're doing this variety, I also want to check with you as last parting thoughts about what is your advice or suggestion to people who have a regular job and want to do something like this. So while you beautifully explain this through the journey story, I want to see if you have some specific thoughts that you want to tell people about.
It will be very wrong on my part because I'm still in a journey right now. So to advise someone, and it's also so specific to each individual, the journeys. So what I can say is what worked for me. So I feel that it is very important to not take oneself very seriously. I mean, to have that ability to laugh at yourself. So I've done that. I have consciously done that over the years since my school days, college days, that I've seen myself as an external party to myself. You look at Ramesh. He is a fool sometimes. He's stupid sometimes. He's an idiot sometimes. So you look at yourself from outside. So you will understand that you will not take life so seriously. So when you don't take life seriously, you can try many things. You can try out many things. You can go out of your comfort zone. You can laugh at yourself. So the thing is, people are attached to their jobs because they attach their prestige or ego to the jobs. You should be in a position to kick any of these at any time, because you are much more worthy than all these things put together. So no, I would not like people to call me as a movie maker or a filmmaker or a project manager. No. Tomorrow I may be a chef. Tomorrow I may be a driver. Tomorrow I may be a pilot. So these are all attributes. So beyond that, you are Ranjit. I am Ramesh. So this is much more precious than whatever other peripherals that the society gives us, right? So that is my take on life. So always looking at myself from an external perspective. So
I think by being very modest, you actually brought out a very important aspect that all of us should take it. Though you said it's specific to each one of us, what you're saying is being able to laugh at our own selves and looking at ourselves from outside was a fantastic tip for us. Plus, your journey, I know we couldn't cover too much, but your journey of starting from Hubli and then moving on to Singapore and now in Adelaide, your journey from an IT job to a photo shoot, from your daughter to professional photography to movie making and being an artist. I think you've kind of covered a lot of spread, and like you rightly said, it's a long journey still. You're on the journey and you don't know where it's going to take you for the kind of person you are. I would say you've always been inspiring to me, at least, and you know that right from college days, and you will continue to inspire me. And I'm hoping this conversation inspires all of those people who are crying about their weekends or do not find time, and at least something comes out of this that Ramesh has told you all, guys. So thank you, Ramesh. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll
thank you so much.
And bring out a version 2 of this to understand more. Let's see how it goes. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the pleasure. Honor.